The Bluff County Detention Center has received near-perfect reviews from recent inspections by the Nebraska Jail Standards Review Board and U.S. Marshal Service. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. And our top story, the Bluff County Detention Center passes inspections by the Nebraska Jail Standards Review Board with flying colors. According to a letter from the review board, the only out-of-compliance item was a record-keeping item involving the electronic transmission of intake and release records to the State Crime Commission. Sheriff Mark Overman tells KNEB News it's been an issue since 2018 when local law enforcement moved to the Zerker records management software and the system never spoke the same language.
I can tell you that the state has switched gears on this and they're doing it in a different manner now. And so I expect that this fall, we've had some communications with them, I expect that this fall that this is going to get resolved. Because we're not the only ones now that have this records management system. It's becoming very popular across the state.
Overman says there were no deficiencies noted in the Marshal Service review. He tells us detention center operations have really turned a corner the past few years and are meeting all the standards set by state and federal authorities. Well, Alliance fire officials say a fire that broke out at the municipal landfill yesterday afternoon was contained by firefighters and was being allowed to burn itself out. Fire Chief Troy Shoemaker says the department was called shortly after 4 p.m., finding the waste wood pile burning and grass fires just west of the facility and across Kansas Avenue.
Basically what we believe was that when the fire first started, the embers flew across and started the dry grass on the north side of Kansas on fire as well. We got that out. So now, like I said, we're just working on some perimeter hot spots on the west end of the landfill.
A wood chipper grinder was destroyed in the blaze and was determined to have been the cause of the fire. Shoemaker says a landfill dozer and a street grader were used to cut lines to protect a structure north of the landfill and to isolate the wood pile. He says lack of adequate water supply in the area led to the decision to let the wood burn out and reduce the size of that waste pile. Well, coming after the break, Bill Boyer's in with your midweek forecast. He'll have that right after this on KNEB.TV News.
At Platte Valley Bank, we believe it shouldn't cost you money to access your money. That's why we offer free ATMs anytime, anywhere. Whether you are across town or traveling abroad, there won't be an added expense to access the funds in your Platte Valley Bank account. Free ATMs are just one of the great benefits of banking with us. Stop by to talk to one of our friendly associates to discuss what else Platte Valley Bank has to offer.
At Elite Physical Therapy, we provide preventative and rehabilitative treatments that maximize function and promote well-being for patients of all ages. With 2 locations in Scottsbluff and Gearing, we offer the convenience of you choosing your location with the same great services no matter where you go. Stop into one of our locations today, in Scottsbluff at 214 West 27th Street or in Gearing at 10th and M Street, and see what Elite Physical Therapy can do for you. Treatment you need and care you deserve.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, big changes are coming in our forecast, not through the evening hours tonight, but especially during the day tomorrow. Big changes coming our way. We're going to have temperatures still around 90 through 7 o'clock. Lots of clouds around. Can't rule out an isolated storm or two. But we're going to be dealing with big changes as storms become likely tomorrow. Some are going to be strong to severe. Heavy rain also a possibility with these storms. and much cooler temps, at least for a couple of days. Unable to get you high and low temperature yesterday as some issues reporting out at the Scottsbluff Airport. Nothing in the rain gauge yesterday out there. Let's paint on current temperatures. As you can see, 80s and 90s here across the region, but you'll notice there's a big change back here in this general vicinity, and that is that cold front. It is coming. It's going to make its way here eventually and slide across the area. Boy, that cooler temperatures just off to our west. We have temperatures here, though, in the 90s here yet this evening, and winds are pretty gusty out of the southeast at 15 to 20, 25 miles an hour at times. Severe weather threat for tonight, going to be well off to our, and a marginal risk of that over around Casper, Rock Springs, and vicinity. Now, tomorrow that changes as we're right here in the middle of it. We have a slight risk of severe storms here across western Nebraska and southern portions of Wyoming, northeastern Colorado. Pretty much all of our coverage area under the gun tomorrow for a slight risk of severe weather. We're talking about large hail, damaging winds, and flooding would be the primary severe weather threats. Tornadoes seem unlikely with this storm. They're going to be more linear in nature. But during the afternoon and evening hours, I think the right combination will come together that most of our area going to be under the gun for severe weather. That pushes off to the east and, quite frankly, well to the east of us for tomorrow. Things go clear off to the east and to portions of the upper Midwest. We're looking at areas like Omaha, North Sioux Falls, and vicinity. Let's take a look at Futurecast. Now, for tonight, you'll see an isolated storm trying to get in the northwestern portions of the Panhandle. It shifts off and to the north away from us. Tomorrow is the real deal, though, when we start to get more rain and storms here. Upper 50s, low 60s. Not a lot of change tonight from what we've been having. Tomorrow, though, you'll notice a big change. By mid to late morning, we start to see an increase in clouds. By early afternoon, here comes showers and storms, and they're going to form in lines and move across the area. Going to be some scattered areas of heavy rain out there. Very heavy rain possible in isolated locations tomorrow. Highs are going to vary. 71 in Lusk, 91 in Ogallala. Going to be dicey on those high temperatures tomorrow, which side of the front and how quickly the front gets to you, but they'll be diving afterwards. Now, precip over the next 36 hours, you can see we've got varying amounts. Now, we'll put on these amounts of rainfall here, but note that these are not going to be perfect and they're going to vary, but it will show you how quickly things can vary, whether we look at a couple of hundredths, an inch, 2, 3 inches of rain, not out of the question in some areas. This doesn't mean that Ogallala is going to get 3 1/4 and Scottsbluff is going to get 2 1/3 inches of rain. It shows you that in these isolated areas where these storms train on top of each other tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with a really good threat of some moderate to heavy rainfall. Let's take a look at our forecast then. For tonight, a stray storm around, otherwise partly cloudy, 61 tomorrow. Scattered strong to severe storms are likely, especially during the afternoon hours. A couple of rounds of those could be possible. Much cooler tomorrow, 81 your high. We dry out and cool off again even on Friday. Highs only in the mid-70s. That sounds amazing, doesn't it? Look at that low Friday night down into the upper 40s. Yeah, we'll be in the low to mid-80s on Saturday, maybe back to the low 90s for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and back in the mid-80s for Wednesday of next week. All in all, a much more comfortable 7-day forecast than that hot, smoky weather we've had a long stretch of.
Find out what convenient really means at the Western Travel Terminal. Start with our great selection of food and drinks, from for real milkshakes and fresh brewed coffee to snacks and hot food. Next, check out our beer and spirits with their everyday low prices. Finally, let us work for you with our full-service gas station and automatic truck and car wash. All this can be found at 822 South Beltline in Scottsbluff. Western Travel Terminal, your convenient shopping, restaurant, and full-service gas leader.
The Verizon family is full of frowns because they're spending too much for their unlimited data and phones, while the Viero family is all smiles because they're getting 4 lines of unlimited data with 2 free Apple iPhone SE for mom and dad and 2 free LG K31 smartphones for the kids, all for just $100 a month. They're saving so much, they're able to get Fido. Find out how you can too at Viero.com or your nearest Viero store. Viero Wireless, keeping you connected.
Why love a rain garden? Let me count the ways. Rain gardens contain and filter water runoff while recharging our underground water supply. They provide habitat for birds, bees, and beneficial insects. Native perennials give 4 seasons of color and texture, beautifying a home while increasing its value. Established gardens are low-maintenance, low-water landscape features, colorful, functional, and sustainable. Rain gardens, brought to you by Tri-City Stormwater. Our water, our responsibility.
Welcome back. Nebraska Public Power District is in the midst of conducting statewide forums on what the utilities' carbon reduction initiative should look like and what will be most important to their customers as that process takes place in the future. 3 forums have been held last week and Monday, and there's another one that took place last night in Scottsbluff. NPPD spokesman Mark Becker says so far, a couple of key principles have risen to the top: affordability and reliability.
People here in Nebraska are very used to the fact that they don't have much interruption of their electric system. It's very rare, even in some storms. So they're expecting, I flip my switch, I turn my computer on, I'm going to have some power. And I think that's what they're looking for. But on the other hand, they want to keep it as low cost as possible. Irrigators like that. Okay, that's another big issue. Because the summer months, we do a lot of power for irrigation.
Becker says there's an online survey you can take if you did not make it to one of the forums. Well, Twin Cities Development is among organizations in the region looking for interested people to serve in a leadership role. According to Executive Director Rhonda Pierce, TCD is seeking a representative from the retail, business, or service sector to serve on the board of directors. Details on the qualifications can be found on the TCD website, and to submit a letter of interest, you can do so through email to director@tcdne.org. And the United Way of Western Nebraska has wrapped up a successful Stuff the Bus campaign for 2021, raising approximately $8,000 in monetary donations to purchase school supplies for children in need. Executive Director Steph Black says the funds are being used to help support students in Scottsbluff, Gering, Mitchell, Morrill, Minutair, Bridgeport, Bayard, Banner County, and Sidney. Black says the organization also provided 250 pre-packaged supply kits that include a backpack for Scottsbluff and Sidney Capwin students. Well, straight ahead, school is back in session, and the Scottsbluff Police Department is offering up reminders as buses and students are back on the roads and sidewalks. KNEB.TV News will be back in just 90 seconds.
Hey, I've been hanging out here a long time outside of Panhandle Auto Group, and boy, do they have a great selection of vehicles.
And their sales team is great to work with, and you can also get your vehicle serviced and detailed too.
Welcome to Panhandle Auto. This is Sam Serta, General Sales Manager. It's been our pleasure to serve you for the past 2 years. At Panhandle Auto, we have a seat for everybody. Whether you need a vehicle for yourself, a son, or daughter, our team will go above and beyond to satisfy your needs and even your dreams. So again, thank you from Sam Serta, General Sales Manager at Panhandle Auto, for allowing us to earn your business. At Panhandle Auto,
it's time for something different.
Why settle for Wi-Fi that just usually works? Why settle for customer service that's subpar? Why settle for service that's outdated? You don't have to. Settle for more with Allo, the faster, more reliable internet experience that's built for the way you use all your devices. For answers, visit us at allofiber.com/switch today. Allo, settle for more.
In boots, new and old, you've walked the rows of life, a fence length of time. You fought the floods, snow, and sweltering heat, and lifted breathing and settled pain. With a smile and a cry, you've strengthened your community and future generations. Sometimes with nothing to say, often can't say enough. Like, let me do it again.
Welcome back. A new school year is underway, and that means motorists need to be taking extra precautions. Scottsbluff Police Captain Brian Wasson explains some of the biggest issues they see when school is in session.
We do get numerous complaints of speeding around school zones, also with stop arm violations around school buses. When the arm's extended, traffic can't go either direction, either with the same direction of the bus or in the opposite direction. They must stop. That typically indicates that children are boarding or unboarding, and you want to be especially careful for the potential for pedestrians coming out in front of or behind the bus.
Wasson also says everybody needs to be extra mindful when approaching crosswalks.
Tip with any pedestrian traffic, if a pedestrian's occupying a crosswalk or at the sidewalk waiting to enter the crosswalk with intention to cross the street, vehicular traffic must stop. The pedestrian has the right of way. At intersections by the high school, middle school, and all the schools really where pedestrians cross heavily traveled roadways, we have crossing guards. The crossing guards are going to have a safety vest on and carry a stop sign, and you're required to obey their direction.
He says having a solid police presence early on in the school year will hopefully result in better compliance and overall safety for everybody.
It's really important to Scottsbluff Police Department to send a message that we're going to be enforcing traffic around schools. As part of that, Chief Spencer has each school will be occupied by at least one, maybe a couple officers on the start of school. Our intention there is to have conversations with the school administrators, introduce ourselves, and just the physical presence of the first day of school, letting everybody know that it's safe to return to school, and we'll be there.
In Scottsbluff, Ryan Murphy, KNEB.TV News.
Welcome to Kelly's, home of the Valley's best selection of wine, spirits, and beer. Whether you're brand loyal to the tried and true brew or really enjoy trying something different and new, Kelly's has something for everyone. Family owned and operated and right on your way on West 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Kelly's Liquor. If you can't find it at Kelly's, it's not worth drinking.
When it comes to helping local folks with the loans and financial advice they need, we don't horse around. Our only goal is to help you and your family achieve your financial goals with the right loans and savings products. So if you want to bank with people that care about you and your financial needs, stop by or give us a call. First State Bank. We're big on you. Member FDIC. Online at fsbcentral.com.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at fsbcentral.com.
It's that ducky time of year again. The 24th Annual United Way of Western Nebraska Rubber Duck Draw is Saturday, September 18th at the 18th Street Plaza in downtown Scottsbluff. Grand prize is a 2021 Toyota RAV4 from Team Auto Center. Second place, a 2021 Honda Pioneer 520 side-by-side from Sandberg Honda, plus 38 other exciting prizes. Adopt your duck today for just $10 at Team Auto Center, First State Bank, Main Street Market, the United Way office, or online this year at uwwn.org/duck.
Panhandle Trails Intercity Public Transit, based in Alliance, Nebraska, is the only intercity bus serving Nebraska Panhandle communities and Pine Ridge, South Dakota. Panhandle Trails operates a regularly scheduled bus service, assisting you in making connections with Greyhound bus partners, regional airports, healthcare, employment and education opportunities, shopping, family, friends, and more. Panhandle Trails serves the general public of all ages and offers accessible transportation for those with special mobility needs. Let Panhandle Trails help you make your connection. Call 308-761-8747.
If you're like me, you're willing to travel for a good steak and a great dining experience. Bobby Joe's Branding Iron in downtown Bayard has just that. Some of the Panhandle's tastiest flat iron steaks, ribeyes, and even prime rib. Pair that with a Western dining experience in our quiet dining room or fun-filled main dining area, you and your family are sure to have a great night out on the town. So if you're looking for a great new restaurant to try, you just gotta head on over to Bobby Joe's Branding Iron in Bayard, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch and dinner.
At Platte Valley Bank, we realize the way people want to bank in the future may be different than it has been. As comfort levels and desires vary by person, banking may be different for some, yet not for others. We offer the best of both worlds, a traditional banking experience with our friendly tellers and an online or mobile banking option with features that you can personalize and utilize anytime, anywhere you go. So you can bank how you want, when you want, and from where you want to. Platte Valley Bank.
And finally tonight, indicators are pointing to a solid rebound for tourism across the state of Nebraska, but there are some headwinds to a complete turnaround from last year. Before a meeting of the Nebraska Tourism Commission in Scottsbluff last week, Tourism Director John Ricks told KNB News the reports for lodging tax and other measures were very strong for the first 3 months of the regular summer tourism season.
April, May, and June were really solid. One of the months was the biggest ever, which is great. So, knock on wood, we'll keep going. So those numbers are, in fact, tracking pretty much with a normal good year.
Rick says people continued to shop Nebraska over the internet, with traffic to the state tourism sites still running about 50% higher than the last fiscal year, which was the highest year for that metric. He does say with the Delta variant, there has been some backing off of web traffic, but inflation on the ground does not seem to be deterring people from coming to the state. International tourism, however, continues to lag, but hopefully it picks up in 2022. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.